Hi, today we're going to talk about exterior elevations. So you've already done interior elevations and it's just the extension on the outside. So let's get started. Well, the first thing you'll need is, of course, we're going to block out the drawing. So an 8.5 by 11 piece of tracing paper or vellum should work. Make sure you put yourself a line at the bottom. This is a pretty large elevation. So you have your reference drawings right here. These are important. You'll need your reference drawings, your floor plan that you have already drafted, and your reference dimensions. All three of these will help you to create exterior elevations. First thing we want to do is, of course, we have options. We can orthographically project by using our floor plan and just bringing the lines down. But in this case, I'm just going to use my scale. So these are an 1/8 inch, but we don't need to scale off this right now. We could just go right off of our floor plan. These are the two views we'll be using. So we're going to see from this side and the front of the house. So this is the front of the house and this is the side of the house. The front and the side. So we have our reference drawings. Those are always great to look at details. So as we look at these, we will take a look at the floor plan, and once again, we'll figure out what the length of this is. I have measured it out on mine. It's 26 feet and 6 inches. So I've created a ground line, and I will tag off 26 inches. And that is the length, and remember, it's 1/4 of an inch. So we go right here, 26.5 feet. So you start ticking off. Now you're going to create your wall. So just, remember blocking out. You just a nice light line. This is why we block out. We don't have to be perfect, right? Okay, so we're now looking at the actual length so far of these components. But also there's components that stick out on each side. And what does that look like? So you would measure that. Right here, I look about 3 more feet. And that will encompass this little walkway here. Let's just make sure. Yeah, it's maybe a little more than 3 feet. I'd say 3 feet, 3 inches from on my end. So 3 feet, 3 inches. So that's kind of giving us that stick out walkway. So once again, another nice little vertical line. Same on this side. They're about the same. So you were going to have to block this out. 3 feet, 3 inches. 3 feet, 3 inches. This is a pretty large elevation. This is a pretty large house. It's 2 stories. So we are just, like I said, creating that square, blocking this out. And now we start to carve out the space. Of course, you need your key elevation heights. So here we have overhaul ceiling heights. On the side walls are 13 feet. And the very top of the roof is 25 feet, 6 inches. So we will measure that out. 13 feet right here. That will give us our dimensions, 13 feet. Let's just go click to 13 feet. And also 5 feet, 6 inches, 25, 6. So I went 13 feet and all the way up to 25, 6 inches. This is when we draw our horizontal lines. So we need to find out what is the very top of this, height of this particular house side view. So this is what we're trying to create. So far we've kind of got our rectangle and the little sides. And you continue to carve out each space as you need it. Now, we know right here in the middle here is the roof. So we know that the whole height is 26 feet, and then at 13 feet is this dimension. So we can create our roof line, where the roof comes straight across, right here. So suddenly we're starting to carve out the space. You see the walls, you see the roof, and these little jet out areas. And we can put our scale and start to dimension those out. And when we do that, we get and find that. Remember, this is 1/8 of an inch. So if one of these dimensions are missing, we just go right to this and we find out how high that is. That is 10 feet. So in 1/4 inch, we go up 10 feet. And now we know how high these little entry areas are. So we go up and then we slide our parallel bar and get to our 10 feet, making sure it's straight. And we have our little jet outs. And remember, it's the same on each side, so it comes out easy. And now you are starting to carve out the space. Remember, continue to use your reference drawings and these key elevations. Overall ceiling height to the top, 13 feet. To the very top, 25 feet, 6 inches. The roof eaves, which that means is at 8 feet. This is an E, so that is 8 feet to that little section. 8 feet. These columns are 7 feet. And that gives us, when we start to see it from the front view, we know what's going on right here. So as you follow these details, scale on, scale off, you will find that these dimensions will help you out in your beautiful reference drawing. Once you finally complete it and create your block out like I've done here, you start to fill in all the other little details. You don't have to be perfect here. But what I do want to see on this exterior elevation is not just a simple white walls here, plain walls. I want you to create some magic using some of those hatches that give interest. So for instance, here we have, like I said, you go up 10 feet, there's the little E's, 8 feet, here's this portion. Right here, 13 feet is at the top of this ridge line, and 25 feet, 6 inches. That gives you your dimensions. I just put this for your reference. The top of the sill is 3 feet, and they're asking you to create a nice window frame. Remember, there's details you also want to add. For windows, we like to add a nice little, a couple of just light diagonal lines, which give it reflection. And you'll do that on anything that's glass in just the right format. See how that instantly makes it like glass. And also, we want to create perhaps brick on our roof or on our chimney. Also, I want you to go up 4 feet here. And I want you to give me some kind of siding of the house. It could be brick, it could be stacked stone. You could do a simple kind of slate stone where it's irregular. You can use some of your hatches where you're bringing in and you're doing some of that stacked stone where it's kind of irregular. Some are smaller, some are bigger. You create the horizontal and vertical lines and create stacked stone. Or you could do a beautiful brick pattern. You could also mimic that same stone on your chimney. If you want to do brick, that's fine too. But remember, whatever you do on the side of the house, we also want to see it on the front of the house. So as you are creating let's just do it right here. As you're creating this nice facade is what we call that, okay? You want to continue that very same line across, all the way across the front of the house. And as you start to create your stone or your brick pattern, I want to see some nice details and have it be consistent all the way across. Also, on your roof, we need to create shingles. Now this is a small version, but as you go to your bigger version, we want to, and I don't have this taped down, but you want to have shingles. And remember, now shingles sometimes act like brick pattern. So if you're going to do every other one like a brick, you just go down and do your vertical lines every other one, and then you create kind of a shingle. This gives it a more realistic view across your whole roof. You can also experiment trying to do things such as a Spanish tile, which is a little bit different. But what I do want to see is on your front elevation, we need to see some shingle thickness. Do you see how the shingle kind of does this? So when you're drafting it, it kind of stacks on each other. And it's a couple of inches. So we need to see some thickness here. A couple 2-inch thick, just to give it some interest and realization. So don't forget, as you lay these out, they do take an entire page. So make sure too you put your very dark ground line right across here. Embellish with a nice facade and add shingles, and also create whatever stone you use here, actually mimic it on the chimney. That will make consistency and look very nice. So I'm looking forward to you creating a nice elevation. Once you get your final elevation done and you start adding all those embellishments, you can also add, if you like, you know, a tree if you want, to give it some realization, if you want to add some foliage. You can maybe add some shrubbery if you'd not like. Sometimes it's nice to add a little landscape to the space. But what I am looking for is creating a nice facade with some stone, creating the shingles here, and also whatever stone you use here, you should also use here. And make it consistent on both the two elevations. So as you get these done, they'll fit on a whole page, and you're going to have a set of beautiful exterior elevations.